Good morning and welcome to another episode of Moms in Real Estate in the Morning. Today I'm flying solo without my co-host Kristen, but I am here with two of our amazing partners. In fact, these are the official Moms in Real Estate lending partners, Dayna and Jessica with CMG Home Loans. So welcome, ladies.
Hi. Thanks, Randy. Good morning. We're happy to be here.
I'm excited to have you here because so our topic today, I feel like every single real estate agent is like, yes, absolutely, is have you ever had a deal that looked completely dead, right? And it didn't feel like it was able to qualify, the DTI was off, or the loan just got denied, it just was not going to happen. And then you had that creative lender who jumped in and saved it. If you haven't had that experience, then I'm sorry. But the great news is I'm going to introduce you to some ladies that can give you that experience. And so, ladies, I'm excited to jump in and kind of talk about like the creative side because, you know, not all LOs are created equally.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely. Creative is our middle name over here. We love it. Jess loves a good teaser file. Like my Sudoku.
We had one.
Right, give me the tough deals.
We had one recently that one of my agents on my team, she took it to like three different LOs, and it wasn't even her buyer. She represented the seller. And then there was something that came up and then the buyer couldn't qualify. And so she was like, well, let me see if I can help. You know, she told the other agent, let me see if I can help. And it took like three, but finally one got it done. And so we as agents always appreciate the one that gets it done. But so talk to me, how much of your guys' business right now are you seeing that needs that creative touch?
Honestly, right now in this market, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of people. We work with a lot of people that are self-employed, which of course, being self-employed, we try to maybe not show as much for the IRS and tax purposes. So getting creative with self-employed borrowers is a huge chunk of our business. I'd say probably 50-60% of our clients are self-employed. So finding those workarounds to traditional financing is huge for them.
Okay, so now I have one on my team right now that is self-employed. And so there's like a hurdle, but now there's a second layer. And in this particular case, they want to purchase a brand new manufactured and put it on land that they already have. And then obviously like wrap it all together. So is that something that you ladies help with? Because that's like two different things.
Yeah, you said they own the land already?
They do. It was actually, sorry, my grandson, Axel, stop playing the piano. My grandson was walking. Let me the piano right now. Yeah, they actually, it was grandma's property. Hold on, baby. It was grandma's property, and there was a house fire, sadly, and it burnt the house down. And so he's looking at just selling. And this is actually one of my agents' clients, but he was looking at selling the land, and she was like, well, what about just putting a new home on it? Because you could actually have a much better investment and then sell that. So that's what he's looking at doing.
Yeah, you absolutely could. We have a renovation loan that allows you to do that, whether it's modular, manufactured, however the setup. You can actually purchase it and fix it to the land all in that one loan.
So that's nice. So you guys actually have that. So not a lot of lenders in my market can do that. I think there's only like 3 or 4. So ladies, if you're tuning in today, just start making a whole list of all the things that these ladies can do and why you should reach out to them.
Yeah, we'll be your scenario desk. We'll figure some stuff out.
Yeah, so right.
What's really cool about our company too is so our owner, Chris George, who owns Christopher Matthew George, CMG, he used to be a loan officer. So he's very much has the mindset of how important it is to not turn deals away. So he's like, we have products for everything. Like he wants to be the place that you never say no. So even if it's something that we don't have, I could pick up my phone and call him and say, hey, Chris, listen, we have this really funky scenario, and give him a story, and we'll find a way.
Nice. Well, you be careful. You're saying this to thousands. You're saying this to thousands of us agents. So just remember that you said
we're ready. We love them. Fire them over.
We all have that. We all have that deal. I have one. And I really like this guy. He's been my buyer that has been with me now for probably 6 to 7 years. And I used to be a Dave Ramsey ELP. And so he came to me, and, it was something I tried to navigate gently, because whatever, there's some controversy on his ways, but this was a diehard client that was like, I'm not going to get credit. I'm not going to get credit. So we tried to do manual underwriting for like years. And then there was like other layers. Anyways, long story short, I do feel like this is the one that like Dave Ramsey cost like ownership 3 times over and probably like hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity because he's still trying to buy. And we're still looking like manual underwriting 6 years later. So anyways, we all have those stories. So now they're all going to come your guys' way. So be ready for those.
Absolutely. We love it.
Nice. I love that. Can we talk a little bit about, so we have an array of agents in Moms in Real Estate. We have the seasoned agents and the brand new agents. Can we talk a little bit about like creative loan products and how they can save transactions?
Absolutely. Yeah. Is there a specific type of borrower? Like, do we want to go over like Govy, self-employment? Like, is there a
whatever you ladies want? I would also love to hear like success stories. If you have real life success stories of how you did that, that would be great.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that we come across, at least when we're getting turned down deals, is the power of understanding guidelines. Like there's a lot of gray areas in the guidelines where it's not really like a yes or no. So being able to really fully understand and kind of see, hey, it doesn't directly say, no, you can't do this. We'll call right up to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, whoever we need to talk to try and kind of figure out solutions. Like there's just so many different ways. We had one that actually came, our agent was the listing agent on the property, and they were purchasing a condo where, as you know, condos can be fun on the lending side when they're doing a full review. So you'll have, you send over like a condo questionnaire and they'll answer a certain list of questions. A lot of times there's certain questions that like HOA management companies don't want to answer. And people then will just be like, oh, the deal's dead. We can't get an answer. If you look through guidelines, there's other ways to get things. Like a lot of times they don't want to answer if there's been any like deferred maintenance or any structural issues on a building in the last couple of years. So he had that one. I had him send us a copy of the questionnaire. The lender had it for 4 weeks, ended up not being able to get it approved 5 days out from closing. He called us. We stepped in, closed it in 9 days, had him send the questionnaire. And really all you got to do is, instead of going to the HOA board, it's like, okay, let's find somebody else alternative. Like what lender is going to go the extra step of, I was a creeper and I found the HOA president on Facebook. And I called him directly and he gave us what we need. I'm like, okay, if the management company can't do it, I'm like, what are the ways that like we do not take no for an answer. So I'm like, I will keep calling every single person in there until we get somebody to send me the quick email of what we need. So we went to him. That's still an acceptable party of someone that could just answer your question. We got that. But as a plan B too, like at least on condos, we have really awesome like non-QM and non-warrantable condo options too, which it doesn't matter what the issue is, whether they're lawsuit, single entity ownership, and too many investors, whatever it is. Like we have everything. We have a designated condo team. So it's like, even if we don't, we still have minimum down non-warrantable options. So I had like a plan A, B, C, D. That was one we just did 2 weeks ago. And it's just, it's just a matter of like going the extra mile and like, what do you need to do to get what you need? Like we will figure it out. Yeah. We found our good old friend Alan on Facebook, and Alan came in and saved the day.
You had me when you were like, I will creep wherever I need to. Kristen and I were just together in Texas, and we were talking about, so my daughter sent me something, and now I cannot remember what it was that she sent me. She sent me something, and I looked at Kristen, and I'm like, I don't even know how she got this information. Like, I don't know what she just did. And Kristen's like, oh, you have one of those too? I have one of those too that like can creep and find anything. And I'm like, yeah,
that's me. I can find anything.
Like loan officer, part-time FBI detective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's super important. And it's funny that you bring up the HOA because I had a deal a few months back that so we went into escrow, and we had a couple different escrows, and for one reason or another they didn't come to fruition. This last year, you ladies probably know this pain, but this last year and a half has been like the cancellations have just skyrocketed. Sure. And we get into our third and final escrow, and what had happened was it was townhomes, and they had been there for like 20 years, but they had always had a parcel that was part that they never developed, and they decided to break ground and add new townhouses. And so we find out midway through that this is going to require that they completely get FHA certified. Like this removes their entire process thing. And I'm telling you, in this case, it was a credit union that the buyer was working with, but the buyer's agent called me, and I'm sharing this story because if you're listening and you're out there and you're representing the buyer, like it's so important that you go deep in the conversations with the ladies or, with whatever lender you're using, because they were worried about like minute stuff, like most borrowers, right? Like rate and payment, and they weren't really like dissecting the deal on a larger scale. And so they called me and they were like, "Hey, Randy, we want to switch lenders." And I was like, "Are you sure?" And so the seller agreed to let them switch lenders. And then we spent that lender ended up needing not one, but five extensions. And I was trying to figure out like what's happening, right? So then we end up having to go back to the original lender when we're now 5 extensions past escrow. We're like 3.5 months into this escrow. And then it took him twice as long to actually get it closed. And so I think it's so important that we as agents understand and help our clients to understand, like, yes, some of the initial questions are definitely going to be around rate and around payment and purchase power and different things like this. But like, depending on the actual property, when you identify the property, there's so much more to unpack. Would you guys agree?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why like communication is so, so important. Like with our team, that's our number one thing, is just keeping the borrower in the loop, keeping the agents in the loop, letting everybody know like this is a tougher program, we might need more things, just setting that expectation and making sure that we stick to our timelines. And, every once in a while you have to put a little bit of a pressure on a borrower in order to get those extra things in order to get it done. So we're just always really big on clear communication and explaining everything so everybody understands.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I feel like I get to be extra selfish today because we have comments saying how good this is and good to know, and asking about states. So we will get there. We'll answer the states the ladies are in. But since you're not giving us tactical ones, I have one. So I have one right now that I just listed, and it's a VA seller, and he has, I think, like a 2.75 interest. And I'm trying to get creative, and I feel like I need a good lending partner on this one, because here is where I'm trying to get creative. There's very marginal profit. Like we're looking at a very, very marginal at best. They may need to come to the table with money. And if it's a very small amount, they can do that. If we get into a situation where they have a larger amount, we're going to have to pivot to a short sell. And I don't want that for them, especially because VA compromise sales, I'm about 1.5 years into one of those, and they're a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And so the VA assumable, what play do I have there, if any, ladies? So, I mean, I would assume that the buyer would need to be able to offset if there was a gap. I'm trying to like play it through my head, but you guys are the experts. So help me out here. What do I have here?
Yeah. So with assumables, the biggest thing is whoever the lender is that has that now, you have to make sure that they can allow somebody else to assume it. The one thing with VA assumptions is if they do assume a loan and they're not a veteran, the veteran who's selling, their entitlement is still in that house. So that's the one kind of little tricky thing on VA, is if somebody comes in that's just a regular non-veteran, they assume the loan, his entitlement stays in the house. So he can't.
Okay, hold on. So I've been doing this for 23 years, and maybe I'm just going to show that like I have this like rookie side, but did you just say a non-vet can assume the loan?
Yes. Yeah.
What? Why do I not know this? How did I not know this?
Yeah, if they have their entitlement in there, a non-veteran can come assume the loan. The only way that it restores
I don't think he'd care about losing the entitlement. He wants to avoid the short sell.
Yeah. So call the lender. So like with us, when we service our VA loans, you don't have to be veteran. It could be anybody. Like we've had investors come in and assume a VA loan. So they're getting, 2.5% on the cash flow property. The only thing is just making sure that veteran then doesn't have another plan to go buy another one. However, another thing I think a lot of lenders miss is being able to pull their certificate of eligibility and figuring out the calculation on how much entitlement they have, because just because they do have one VA loan doesn't mean they can't go get another one. So there's a whole form that you fill out. You'll go and see, hey, do they have any available? Can we restore any of it? And then there's a manual calculation depending on the county what the loan limits are, that sometimes they can get another VA loan. It just requires some down payment. So being able to like have your lender talk to them up front, kind of go through, hey, what are your options if somebody does come in and try to assume this loan, of if your plans are to get something else, just kind of letting them know. But if not, you just contact whoever holds the mortgage, make sure it can be assumed, then what their process is. Some lenders take longer than others. I mean, it could be like our process is 30 days. Some lenders can run a little bit longer, but you could mark it that way. And that's a great way to get them in the door. The biggest thing too on sales is just easy numbers. You have a sales price of 500. If there's only 400 left on the loan, they can assume the 400, but you still have to amend the gap from 400 to 500. So they'd need a purchase money second on there. So it's just then again running the calculations to make sure the payment on the second, the rate still makes sense to assume.
But the bank that holds the note is the only one that they have to go through for the assumption.
Correct, because they hold the mortgage. They're the one that offered the 2.875 or whatever it was that they had. So you have to go through that.
It just got sold. I was already halfway through. I was already starting this process. And all of a sudden, I got the homeowner gave me a note that they just gave it to somebody else, and so I literally reset the entire.
That's always how it happens. Like right when you're in the middle of something. Always. It's been really fun. Okay, ladies, I feel like we could talk all day long, but one of the biggest questions that we have is like, well, what state? So I know that you are national, but I know that you also, I think it's West Coast that you have a little bit stronger. But talk to us. Where do you want to make sure that our moms in real estate are like, heck, if you're in this market, or this market, make sure you're calling us. Yeah. So, gosh, let me try to remember all the states off the top of my head. She might even pull them up. Arizona, California, Texas, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Illinois, Kansas, Missouri, Florida.
Here we go. Here's our little map. We can share our license map too.
I think I got them all.
We'll drop that in the comments too. I'm waiting eagerly for you to say Nevada. Like, have you said Nevada?
Yes, Nevada. We are.
Nevada. You guys were like, you were at me on the edge of my seats. I was like, don't tease me and tell me all your creative.
We got them all now.
Nevada.
Yes, it says yes.
And then here's the question. Oh, go ahead. So did you say the drum roll?
Oh no, I said I'll let her read.
Let me read through it all.
Oh, okay. So drum roll.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yes. We've got Washington, Idaho, Oregon, Nevada, California, Arizona, Nebraska, Kansas, Texas, Missouri, Arkansas, Illinois, Wisconsin, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, and
Maryland.
Maryland. I was like, it's this tiny on the map. I was like, oh, which one is that?
Maryland.
I love it. So, and oh my gosh, when you said Maryland, I have an agent, a friend over there that you guys would love. She is like freaking amazing. She's the funnest agent. So I've got to connect you to her as well.
Absolutely.
And no doubt we have agents in all those markets. But okay, so this is a question I always ask LOs when I meet with them personally. Like, what do you love about your favorite agents? The agents that you have the most successful relationships with, what is it you love about working with them?
I think the biggest thing for me is just working as a team. Like, nothing makes it more challenging than when it's like everybody's a separate party. It's like, can we all work as a unit from the beginning? Like, we want to be involved in like even making offers just to know like, hey, is this an FHA flip property? Is this manufactured? What was the year it was built? There's so many different things of like, if we can just work as a team. Our team is huge on communication. She knows all of my girls on my team. It's like, it's a 20-minute response time and an email that comes in. So I think just making sure everybody's working as one unit. Like, if we are doing a condo and we maybe need to get something from the seller, it's just like having the listing agent, the buyer's agent, and us all working as a team. So the buyer has realistic expectations from the beginning. There's not any, like, I feel like one thing that sets people up for success or failure sometimes is, if an agent's quoting closing costs and rates and payments without involving us. And it's like, oh, then we get the contract and that was from 3 months ago. And now the buyer's like, oh my gosh, wait, what the heck? Like, I was expecting this. And then everybody isn't happy. So for us, it's just, we would rather just be involved. Like, you're never bothering us. Like, we'd rather work as a team, run payments, call listing agents when offers are submitted, and just like build that rapport with everybody in the transaction, including title. So it's just, everybody's on the same team. We're all working towards the same end goal, and makes it more enjoyable, I feel like, for everybody.
I agree 1,000%. I always say, like, I don't want to run your lane. I just want you to inform me what you need from me to run your lane. Like, I've never been that agent that, like, you will never catch me talking to them about their rate or their payment or any of it, because that's just not my lane. So thankful when we can like run that collaboratively and take care of them. I feel like that's my best deals. Okay, so I've got one final one for you. And if you have a solution to this one, then I'm gonna just over a deal today. Okay, so so I have a client, and I will take a little bit of ownership on this because I think that's what we all look at our own spots. So I have an LO that I've been working with, and they've been, approving people for me and going through, and they personally like to meet clients. Everybody's different, but they like to meet with them in person. And so the client I already had the client pre-approved with somebody else probably about 6 months ago. And they got a little bit of cold feet, and we didn't keep a sense of urgency collectively on that buyer. And so then I reached back out to the buyer, and they were ready to go, but they kind of wanted to see, about another lending option. So I connect them. It takes like 2.5 to 3 weeks for them to actually get in person with the lender and meet. And so then they meet, they go through the whole process. And I love pipeline updates, but I didn't get a pipeline update. But I talked to my buyer and I said, like, how did it go? And they were like, oh, good. We're approved. And I think we're comfortable based on what she said for payment. We're comfortable about $450, but she did say we could push up to like $525. And I was like, okay, great. And we had a couple different things going. And I know this client well. So she wanted to go get properties like that weekend. And I was like, all right, let's go. And so we went and looked at properties. She found a property, and I called the LO and I was like, hey, I just want to make sure I didn't see anything come over from you guys after your meeting about like if they need anything, like, do they need any credits? Is there anything I need to write in the offer? Can you please let me know? And she messages me back and she says, they can't buy. And I said, what? And she says, they can't buy. The husband co-signed or went on the loan with a cousin. And the cousin has been making his mortgage payment by walking into the branch and not actually like through his bank account. He walks into the branch to always make his payment. And so there's nothing we can do. And I'm like, wait. And so again, I'm going to take accountability because I should have like circled back with the lender before, but I had already had them approved. And so I just hate this because I feel like collectively we failed this buyer. And I'm not sure how this buyer felt that they were approved, but they found the house. They found the house and they were ready to go. And then I feel like that was like pulled out from underneath their feet. And so now I'm like heartbroken. And I mean, other than obviously I told them, get that cousin to start like paying from his bank account, stop walking into the bank. Like, let's just do that as start one. But any other ideas on what the heck we could do here?
Yeah. You just put a lease, have them put a lease agreement in place, and the cousin be responsible for all payments, no liability to your borrower, and you should be able to exclude the payment.
Yeah, that actually
be able to have the lease and proof of payment showing that it came from that account, and you should be able to put together a letter of explanation to exclude that debt.
Okay, well, I'm going to call you.
Call us.
Jordy is my daughter and my production partner on my buyers. And so we're going to get you introduced. But ladies, you got real life examples today. You saw what it was like we kind of showed like a working relationship and a new one. This isn't even like an established one. This was just like, hey, these are some things and some ideas and kind of what we want to do. And I was able to put it in front of these ladies, and you saw like live in real life motion that they gave some options. So if you have some hurdles, get those over to them. But also what I would say is don't even just get the hurdles over, like start with them from the beginning, because they're going to better position you for your buyers to have more options. So ladies, we are so thankful to have you as our partners. And you basically take care of like 80% of the United States. So these girls have your back. So reach out to them directly, and I'm going to reach out to you ladies. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it was fun.
Bye, ladies. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Awesome. Have a good one.
All right. Bye, ladies.
Bye.